Okay, our regular school board meeting for Tuesday, November the 3rd, 2020 is officially called to order. We will have our Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Bud McInnes and our invocation by Sandra Gilliard.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we come this evening calling upon your name, trusting in you and knowing that you're too wise to make a mistake and you're too just to do wrong. And so, God, we ask your divine guidance during this meeting, God, that you would help us and enable us to make the decisions, God, that will lead your people in the right direction, because they have entrusted us, oh God, to make policies and procedures that will govern our schools. We lift up to you any that are sick. We pray, oh God, for all of our employees, for all of our students and our parents that are working diligently, oh God, that this school district may forge ahead. God, we thank you for the leadership here at the district office, our superintendent and our leadership team. And God, we thank you for these very fine board members that stood in the gap during the heart of the coronavirus. God, praying for each school and departments. God, we just pray your blessings upon each of their homes, their families, and God, help us to do what is right and pleasing in your sight. And we'll be careful to give you praise, honor, and glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. All righty. Our agenda shows that there are no presentations. Do we have any public comments? Did we receive any cards for public comment? All right. No public comments. At this time, we will go to item D, approved by the superintendent under the emergency power. Item number 1, approval of overnight trip for the Palatka High School girls golf team.
I make a motion that we approve the overnight trip for the PHS girls golf team.
I second.
All right, it's been motioned by Mrs. Jane Crawford that we approve the overnight trip for the Palatka High School girls golf team, and it was second by Mrs. Holly Pickens. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposers, hearing none, our motion carries 4-0. Second item, the 2020-2021 personnel allocation change number 9, 9.1 through 9.3, COVID emergency.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve 2021 personnel allocations, change number 9, 9.1 through 9.3, COVID emergencies.
Second.
All right, motion by Mrs. Holly Pickens that we approve item D2, and second by Mr. Bud McInnes. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposers, hearing none, our motion carries 4-0. All right, at this time, we are ready for our consent agenda. We will start with you, Mr. McInnes.
H2.
H2,
Is that a question?
McInnes. Okay. Mrs. Crawford,
I have nothing to pull.
okay. I have, okay. I have H2 to pull, so, but that's okay. Great. I just wanted to hear more about it. Mrs. Pickens,
Nothing to pull.
okay. Oh, and I failed to mention that item N1 under new business, well, that's not under the consent, so we'll take
Right.
care of that when we get there. Sorry about that. All righty, so we have item H2 pulled. Do we get a motion to accept the rest of the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda minus item H2.
I second.
All right, it's been motioned by Mrs. Jane Crawford that we accept the consent agenda minus item H2, and it was seconded by Mrs. Holly Pickens. All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Opposers, hearing none, our motion carries 4-0. All right, Mr. McInnes, H2.
We have, Mr. Burnett is here, ESC Director, can answer any questions you have about that.
Yeah,
Okay,
I just, the novelty of it being free got my eye first, but,
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to see what it looked like, and I apologize for not
It's
asking
okay.
earlier, but, it just looks like, I just want to see what that was about.
It's a
And- oh, excuse me, mine that I've written here, my note was the insurance section. If you, now, we are talking about affiliation agreement with Eastern New Mexico University? Yes.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I have written the insurance section, and it looked like something was crossed out or blurred on one of the sections and the insurance concern is, will our students, who will take care of this? It's some pretty good prices. So just share it with us, and
There's
the question
liability
maybe.
coverage that the university and the interns provide. I'll give you a brief
Okay.
overview of it.
Okay.
We accept interns from a lot of different schools around the area. And I know this school is out of state, but it was a program where we have a person of interest that lives in St. Johns County that was interested in coming here as an
They
intern.
probably have online.
Yes, ma'am, and part of the process is for speech is you have to intern when you come out and work. And it's one of the ways we do try to attract new employees. We have turnover in these areas. And as if you know, we do have to contract for some positions that we have. And when we do, it generally costs us about $30,000 more a year to contract for somebody. Currently, right now, we're only down to one contract person, which is very good. But we try to do these agreements so we can bring people in and attract new talent. So if we do have open positions, it's kind of like we've got somebody that's interested and knows the layout of the district so we can bring them in and have them on board quickly.
So actually, they reached out to you?
They actually reached out to me mainly because of where he
Great.
lived.
Right. And so y'all can, I mean, it's, like when I interned, I had to have a supervisor in the school.
We do. We have my speech lead as the speech intern supervisor. She's fully
So
qualified
she's kind of
to
doing
do
it for
that.
class, I mean.
Yes,
or
correct.
he-
It's a class for, in this case, a male. And we don't have any male speech therapists. So this
great.
will be great. I've never had one work for me, but he's very interested in coming here.
And he
so-
lives in St. Johns County.
Yes, ma'am.
We may have to get him to sign something saying as soon as he's done, he will not.
Yes, ma'am. Hope- We'll see how it works out first, and we'll go
Yes.
from there.
All right, thank you, sounds great, okay.
Tit for
Thank you.
tat.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve item H2, affiliation agreement with Eastern New Mexico University.
A second.
It's been motioned by Mr. Bud McInnes that we approve item H2 affiliation agreement with Eastern New Mexico University, and second by Mrs. Holly Pickens. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposes, hearing none, our motion carries 4-0. We are now out of our regular session into our emergency session.
Question about this.
All righty.
I'll make a motion that, we approve College Board's college readiness and its success contract for October 29th, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
I'll second.
All right, it's been motioned by Mrs. Jane Crawford that we approve item L1 under emergency, the College Board's college readiness and success contract for from October 29th, 20 to June 30th, 21. Justification, explanation, time sensitive.
I have a question.
All righty. We are now open for a discussion on item 1.
I
Before
just
we
had a
vote.
question. Who is the
This is
county office contact for college?
Lamoureux. I mean, her name was in it. I'm
It's not,
sorry.
it's not on my agenda.
No,
Is it
was
Renee?
in the reading.
Yeah,
and
I
the-
didn't,
and the whole
I
thing.
skimmed over that, I didn't
Okay,
read that whole
yeah.
contract. Because we do it every year. So it is
Right.
Renee?
Yes,
Okay.
it said Renee Lamoureux. Yes.
And she makes sure that every high school contact is trained properly to give this test.
It's the SAT day.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Okay.
I read it.
Testing coordinators.
I read it and I just thought it was awesome in that the results will go to whichever college that child is aspiring to.
Always
Without
have,
them,
yeah.
I read it and I said, this is great. They need to take advantage of it.
Well, it was wonderful when they started that years ago. They started with ACT and then we changed over to College Board. And it
Okay.
has given so many more students an opportunity to take a college entrance
Yes.
exam that,
Okay.
for whatever reason, never took one before. Or maybe they couldn't afford it or they just didn't want to, but
I didn't know
they all
about it.
take it.
Now it's, yeah.
And I think in the case of the South End, a lot of it was transportation.
Yeah, because they had to come to Palatka.
And now they
Yeah.
do it during school, I
Right.
think I read.
It's,
yeah.
it's
Well, they have the
amazing.
opportunity to do at least one during school.
Yes.
so.
Awesome. So now we entertain a motion.
Oh, we got to make a
Oh,
motion?
no, we've already motioned and so we're ready to vote? All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposers, hearing none, our motion carries 4-0. We are now out of emergency session, and we will move to our discussion. You need to note that we have nothing under unfinished business. Item N1 is pulled for consideration and may resurface at a later time. So we'll go to item N2.
Mr. Burnett will be here to present that.
He's
Come
the
on.
man tonight. Well, this afternoon.
Yes, ma'am. And board, you can see it's in your packet. It's the exact same thing I presented last meeting, except for we changed open enrollment to begin November 4th, tomorrow. We're going to keep our current plans C, D, and E, and then add a plan C HSA, which is the richest HSA available. And then we'll continue to educate our employees for the remainder of this year and next year with the idea of looking at, with your permission, we're looking at having just exclusively HSAs. And again, of course, that is up to you to make the final determination on that, but that's what we wanted to look at. The plan subsidies remain the same, $150 a month for all the employees and $100 a month for all our retirees. And then we had the items for teledocs, which will not exceed $74,000, but just gives us another item. And again, it's only for HSAs, but another way for our employees to have a benefit where they don't have to pay to go to the doctor as long as it's through teledocs and through telemedicine.
And I think, Andy, the point you make about using the rest of the year to educate the employees about HSA and Benji, that's really, really important because many of them who have been on C and higher plans, Mark, you know too, they don't really understand exactly how an HSA works and how it can be a benefit.
And I didn't understand a lot of the different benefits either. And so
I didn't
until
either.
Until I got on this committee and I started really, really diving in deep and looking at some YouTube videos and just doing research.
And, and I still don't know if I were not on Medicare now, but that I'd want to do it. But,
Sure.
but I understand it more, and that's from talking to people about it and people that have been on it. And I just think that education piece is so important.
Absolutely it is.
And-
Absolutely.
Thanks to Mr. Paul Smith, he helped me to understand. Yes, so it's when you have people like that truly believe in it, they're on it themselves, and they're saying, this works, this is good for the employees. So we appreciate that.
I just had one question.
Yes,
How
sir.
are we going to get the information to retirees about how we are going to work this?
We had a plan to contact them and also advertise through our district website.
Do we know how many retirees we have at this point?
Where's Mrs. Oldham?
Ron doesn't?
I don't have the number.
Okay.
I thought, that was the number that came in my head, Mark.
Okay,
100.
okay.
So,
Diligent.
let me clear this up in my head again. We get new retirees every year. But do the ones did anybody ever come off of it? Do they come off of it, what we do when they go into Medicare?
Get 65.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So some of those people, the last couple of years that have really been fussing, they might have moved off.
It's possible, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's possible.
Okay.
I don't know if this is the right time, but the board contributes more for the employees, because you said the $150 subsidy?
Yes, ma'am. I think the extra was negotiated with,
That's the extra in addition to the 400, isn't it? 450? Yeah, that's extra.
Okay, okay. It's a total of 450, right?
No, I think that's additional,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an
Okay.
addition.
Okay, all right.
yes. Okay,
Okay.
any further discussion? If not, we entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the insurance committee's plan for our insurance.
Okay, I'll second it.
All right, it's been motioned by Mrs. Holly Pickens that we accept the insurance plan recommendation, and second by Mrs. Jane Crawford. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposers, hearing none, our motion carries 4-0. Okay. Item 3, discussion, input action, resolution to grant emergency powers to the superintendent.
Well, I'll make the motion that we continue to grant the superintendent the powers to make decisions in the event that we can't be contacted or get here.
And it's been working. 'Cause
Right.
you can see the things he's taking care of, so.
Second that.
All right, it's been motioned by Mrs. Holly Pickens that we continue to allow our superintendent to have emergency powers for the board, and it was seconded by Mr. Bud McInnes. No discussion. All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Opposes, hearing none, our motion carries 4-0. All right, at this time, we will have our reports from our board members. We'll start with you, Mrs. Pickens.
Okay, first, we approved, in the consent agenda, the school improvement plans for all the schools. And I didn't read every single school verbatim, because that was a lot of reading, but, it's very evident to me the amount of time and work that's put into these plans, and they're not to be taken lightly. I think they really are plans that are expected to be executed. And so I just commend everyone that's on those committees, the administrators, for all the work that they do in making the school improvement plans. I attended with Ms. Crawford and Mr. McGinnis the Nutrition in the Box. The University of Florida has contacted PHS, the Ag Department, and the Culinary Arts Department, and they're going to work together. They showed us a program that they had at Eastside in Gainesville, and it was truly, it was a wonderful program, and the kids seemed very excited about it, but most importantly, the two teachers seemed very excited about it. And so I think it's a program that's just going to grow in Putnam County, and the families that are selected to receive the Nutrition in a Box, I think, are going to really enjoy it, and hopefully it will help with the whole overall health of our community. Then last Friday night, I got to go to the dedication of the Doug Feltner Field at Interlochen, and I was extremely touched by how touched Coach Feltner was. It really meant a lot to him, and to see the support and just a smile on his face, it was wonderful. I think it was a very deserved honor, and we're in our 11th week, and so I'm happy. I'm sure students got grades, and
they either are gonna have to buckle down and work harder.
happy and some
Or
aren't.
some are doing well and some aren't. So, that's all I have.
Okay.
Well,
Mrs.
I'd
Carter?
like to reiterate what Holly said about the Nutrition in a Box partnership with the University of Florida. Y'all know that it's not always easy for me to heap praise on University of Florida, but I am now. It's a wonderful program. And they started out, like Holly said, at Eastside with just their culinary arts department, but at Palatka High School, they're combining culinary arts and our ag department. So our ag kids are going to grow some of the vegetables that go in the nutrition in the box. And then culinary arts will be in charge of, and Krista Bjorn, their teacher, will be in charge of ordering all the meat that goes in it and making sure that they have whatever canned goods or frozen goods go in the box and putting the boxes together. And I've talked to a couple of kids that are in the ag program, and they're really excited about being a part of this project. And, you know, it's, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's kind of like HelloFresh. Have y'all,
Yes.
everybody's heard of HelloFresh?
Yes.
So everything they need to cook that meal for 4 comes in that box with the recipe card. And and I think they said, didn't they, that they're going to try to make sure that every family, it's for,
What do you think?
you know, underserved families, huh? 20 families, and they have to do an interview and, you know, and make sure that they are in need, and they do it for 6 weeks in the fall and 6 weeks in the spring. So these first boxes will go out in the spring, and it's just very exciting to me. I'd like to give a shout out to my Panthers. We won a football game. Really, really excited about that. They've struggled this year, and but I still love them. I still bleed blue and gold. I get this thing called the Pineapple Report, and I'm sure the rest of y'all get that as well. And I read an article where the superintendent in Seminole County, you probably know this already, has asked our Commissioner of Education, is it Corcoran? Is that how you say it? To not assign school grade again this year. And, you know, my feelings are kind of like his.
Yes.
This would remove a layer of anxiety and concern that we're all still under because of COVID. Our teachers are working harder than they've ever worked. Some, you know, not under the best conditions because they're having to do online and in-face, and, you know, our students, some of them are very stressed out. A lot of them have moved back and forth from online to class, back to online. I just think at least another year of not being pressured of a school grade would be a good thing. So I just want to say I totally support that initiative.
And I concur.
And that's all I've got.
Right, Mr. McInnes?
Okay. Well, they took all my thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what happens when you go last. But sometimes you
not
get to go
last.
first.
Not last.
Well, the last board member.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I changed switches up. You know, come on now.
If I
It was,
could, I'd take it back.
I want to say, yes, congratulations to the Panthers for their first win. And the first one on my list was the school-wide improvement plans, and that is like just what Ms. Pickens said. It's very thorough, a lot. You can tell how much work has gone into it, and how much work has gone into it we'll see the fruits of those labors. It's that well. And Jonathan, I know you were instrumental in all that.
Such a
Thank you.
guide, good guide.
I can't add anything more. The only thing with the culinary and FFA programs merging together, the goal was to put healthy meal kits together for families and teach them how to eat healthy yet affordably, right? And it's a wonderful venture for our students to assist in our community, and that I can't wait to see it take off. The dedication of Coach Doug Feltner Field was wonderful. Got to see a lot of former administrators that came and reminisced, and it was just a really great evening. And like Ms. Pickens said, Coach Feltner took a lot of pride in what he did, And he planted a lot of seeds. He mentored both my sons, my oldest and my youngest sons. And he's just really instrumental. And a lot of the people that came were former students that came. And
Oh,
just,
that's good.
Awesome.
it's really great seeing that happen. The Rams weren't successful, though, on the field. But they've had a great season so far. And not to forget this, we probably won't, we won't have another meeting for our veterans, to honor our veterans this November 11th. And a shout out to the Rotary Club of Interlochen and Lakes area, working in the concession stands. They do it, every week. I remember one thing that was when my oldest son, well, both of them, when they're in school, it was the football club at Interlochen, and they had a camp. It was a lot of work. If you work in a concession stand, that's extreme work. And I have to give my role in that club to get me where I was in the post office, because I could use all those scenarios to get promoted,
Help you with the volunteer hours.
For example, raising a Coke from 75 cents to $1. The horror of it all, thinking about not making change, getting a profit, and just to convince people we need to do this, we need to do this. So it was easy for me. When you raise stamps,
Is that why y'all do stamps?
that's the deal.
Yeah.
Huh? Well,
Now I know where it
anyway,
comes from.
my interviewers like that. So I did one other thing today that was interesting. I take a lot of surveys, and the survey I took, because I'm intrigued with mystery shopping, because it hit me so hard in the postal service, I guess. So I kind of don't want to retaliate in a bad way, but I just like to give good input. But I did one today, and it was interesting. I didn't know exactly how it was going, but it was a Family Feud. I got questions on the Family Feud, and I made sure I copied them all, because if it ever comes up and I'm watching, it's like, I answered that.
Oh, you're part of the results?
I was on the survey says.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I
That's
will
it.
do that.
Thank you, Mr. McInnes.
Touch me.
Cool. That's exciting.
Again, ditto to what Mrs. Pickens and Mr. McInnes said regarding our school improvement plans, down to the detail, the number of students, how many indicators that student may have. That says that they are doing their work, and so we are pleased with what they're doing. And a lot of times it may not show up in this test or the next test, but eventually it will show up. So just kudos to all of our schools and leadership teams and SAC teams and whatever you're being called now. I got an opportunity on Saturday to hear Senator Bill Nelson and to take a picture with him. And I wasn't as taken with what he was saying as I was with his height. I'm taller than he is.
Bill Nelson, he shrunk then, didn't he?
He is short. I got a picture to prove it. Yeah. I too had a first, just before coming here, I was in Brown and Pierce pickup line. And my sister made me be there at 2:15, and they don't get out to 2:45. But I was there with my name tag in the window, and the way they do it, it's awesome. It's timed, it's precise. The lady looks at the decal sticker in the window, and she radios, and by the time I pulled up, my great niece was getting in the vehicle, and so it's great. See, I live right there in San Mateo, and I fussed a long time about that line when I make a mistake and not go all the way down 17 and 100 and mess around and turn on Old San Mateo and get caught behind that traffic. But they got it down to a science. The final thing I have is more or less a question. I know the date of the swearing in, which is November the 17th. I have paid my money. I just need to be sworn in. I need to know a time.
I believe it's at 9 o'clock.
9
But I'll
o'clock.
verify that.
Holly thought it was at 9 too, and that does sound familiar.
You and Holly sound like you know what you're talking about, so we'll take that.
And that's at the Board of County Commissioners.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. All righty, thank you. At this time, we will have our attorney, Mr. Attorney, all right, if you will share with us.
Probably didn't give me anything to report or share, so we don't have a report.
So the legal department is fine, all is well in the legal department, thank you, sir.
That's what Charlie says
That's what
every
Charlie
week.
says, yes, so, thank you so much,
He wanted
sir,
to
for
be
what
here,
you
he
do.
tried to move something, he couldn't, so.
Okay, thank you so much.
Appreciate you being here. Larry.
All right, Mr. Superintendent.
Yeah, a few items. First of all, I want to update Sharon. We actually had Sharon on our Zoom meeting yesterday, and she is doing much better.
That's what she said.
Yeah, and I want to thank Jackie and Deborah for filling in for her.
Oh,
but
they've been great.
Yeah, we're anxious to get Sharon back and back on the job. But she's working from afar, so every day she's doing more and more. So
Okay.
keep her in your prayers.
Yes.
You were mentioning about the situation with the letter grades and all. I just want to remind you that the NEFAC superintendents, the board of directors, did send a letter. I might have mentioned that before, but a letter signed by all of us to the commissioner,
get-
No, you didn't tell
You
us.
didn't tell us.
just asking the same thing, if they
Oh,
could
good.
reconsider the grades, and also about the hold harmless for, funding and that type of thing. So,
Good.
and again, there's no guarantee,
Right.
and but again, we thought we'd ask anyway.
Yeah,
Can't hurt to ask.
and if we get something,
Yeah.
the grade,
I think this is one of those years where it'd be good to, kind of deviate from the normal practice, but we don't make those decisions. All we can do is ask. I'm gonna take my mask off a minute while I talk. We are having our first quarterly review with our principals. I believe elementary principals Thursday, and then secondary next week. And we are gonna be talking about some of their processes and goals and so forth. But the big focus is looking at what condition walks. And I know Jonathan and Sarah Jean and their department is going into our schools with administrators and just seeing if those conditions are, right for student learning. And again, that's something we have picked up working with Learning Sciences International with Mosley, and we're trying to expand those practices, district-wide. So, for kids to learn, we need to have those conditions in place. Just to remind you, talking about the 17th, just a reminder, that is our reorganizational meeting on the 17th, and that meeting is scheduled at 10:30 a.m.
yes, sir.
Make sure that we have that is posted on our website, and we will not be putting any business to the board on that date. That would be strictly reorganizational, and that will be where you'll be assigning different people for different committees like you always do. So you'll have a list of those prior to the meeting. And the public hearing on new and amended policies will take place at the December 1st board meeting. So we'll bring that to you at that time. Have a little note to read from Title I. As a reminder to our community and families, each of the Putnam Schools 2020, 2021 Title I parent and family engagement plans are available on the school websites. As always, I appreciate our parents and family members for your continued support of your students' education. And speaking of thank yous, if you get a chance, if you haven't already, look on our Facebook page. Our media department did a phenomenal job putting together a thank you video, and we are thanking all of our community and business partners in the district. And we went to great length to make sure we didn't leave anybody out. And if we did leave somebody out, then I apologize now. But we met with principals. We made sure we addressed as many people as possible. But there's a lot of thank yous there, and I really mean that. We could not do what we do without the partnerships that we've established with our local community. So if you get a chance, look at that. We are going to send those out to those partners so they can have a chance to see that.
Is it on
as well.
YouTube as well? Because
It is on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's called, Thank You. Yeah, it's a thank you title.
Public service.
Right. But the kids, there's a lot of kid involvement, and of course, when they say thank you, you can't quite make out what they're saying, so we put the name of the business
Good
at the
idea.
bottom so you can see who it is.
Closed caption.
Our teachers and Teachers of the Year and School-Related Employee of the Year have been selected at each of the schools, and they are posting those on their school Facebook pages. Next week, we'll be bringing them together, Ms. Whitehurst, I believe next Thursday, a week from Thursday, for an informational meeting. And we'll be like in the CeeLo Auditorium, I believe, so we can spread them out. But just talk about some of the, no breakfast, just kind of give them the things they need to do to,
Yeah,
fill out
we are.
for the
Yeah,
district.
we-
the district level. So there's a little bit of paperwork involved, so it's an informational meeting. Normally, under a normal year, we would feed them breakfast and have a big to-do, but we've
Y'all
had to
get 'em
change that.
what you call it, from McDonald's and give it to them. What are those things called? Egg McMuffin?
Well, Ms. Whitehurst is in charge, so I'm sure she made a note of that. Yeah.
And they
Uh,
understand.
Oh, I know.
You
And finally,
just
I want to
joke.
announce this is, has not been made public yet, but I want to announce our principal and assistant principal of the year. And they were just notified yesterday. From Palaca High, J.T. Stout is our principal of the year.
Okay.
And from Middleton Bernie Elementary is Yolanda Brady.
Oh, good, go you.
So they will be, we'll formally do a kind of announcement on our Facebook page in a few days, but I want to go ahead and make that known now. And their work is ahead of them too. There's a lengthy thing they have to fill out as well, but it's a big honor, and they're selected based on a lot of the data and some of the improvements they've made in their respective schools.
So is there a committee that selects them?
Yeah, our district staff, especially our area directors, get together and look at their data.
That's quite
and
an
then they make a
honor.
recommendation, so congratulations to those two. All right, and that's all I have.
Hey, if, anything else to come before us? Okay, if there isn't, then,
Sweet today.
oh, okay. This meeting is adjourned.